What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 80 of the Endless Endeavor podcast. And we're going to wrap up the year with a Q&A session. I think it's a good time to do a Q&A because a lot of people go into the new year with new goals, new aspirations, new fitness routines, and a lot of people are asking about jiu-jitsu and health and fitness. And so I pulled a couple questions out of those realms and a couple other ones as well, and we'll just kind of take it where it goes. I've been releasing a handful of solo episodes over the last the last month. And that's because as the year winds down, everybody's slammed during this time of year. And I don't have 100 episodes in the queue. I usually go week to week, and I kind of enjoy that because it keeps the podcast that's getting released fairly current on what's going on and kind of the climate of what's going on politically and what's happening in the news. So before we go into this, I just wanted to say, you are going to hear me doing this several times throughout the episode because I have a scratchy throat. There's a chance that I have, wait for it, Omicron. And so, unlike most people that get fucking terrified when you get a tickle in your throat or you're hacking up a little bit, guess what? I don't fucking care. I'm unvaccinated. I'm healthy. And the thought of getting a virus that has a 99.99% survival rate for men in my age group doesn't even begin to raise concern. But I thought it'd be funny to open up with that because it doesn't concern me at all. However, our fearless leader, the president, leader of the free world, put out this, I think it was 2 days ago. And I already shared this, but I think it's interesting. We are intent on not letting Omicron disrupt work and school for the vaccinated. You've done the right thing, and we will get through this. For the unvaccinated, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your families, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm. Go fuck yourself. Like, is this a real fucking thing that the president puts out on whitehouse.gov as a press release to American citizens? How are this administration continues to make me look at our reality and wonder if I am in a simulation. Am I in some kind of weird computer algorithm and everybody's watching me like the Truman Show or something? What kind of a fucking human being tells his own constituents, you are looking at a winter of severe illness and death? And then fucking Kamala Harris the other day, she was on that show with Charlemagne the God, which if you call yourself the God, you're a fucking moron. Right there, you're dead to me. But she goes, oh, you sound like one of them Republicans. You sound like one of those Republicans not believing that Joe Biden's the president. Well, guess what? I'm Kamala Harris and I'm the vice president. Equally as disturbing as this fucking White House press release. Like, what the fuck? Who are these people? How is this even real? How are they even in any type of position of leadership? And I say that with quotation marks because it's the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever witnessed is this administration. And I know it doesn't matter who's in office. You got people speaking into a mic talking about how fucking stupid they are. But I'll tell you guys this, okay? I've leaned right my entire life. I hold conservative principles and values. I would consider myself a libertarian more than a Republican because all elitist cocksucking politicians are gross to me. But when Obama was in office, I wasn't fond of him, but it didn't bother me in the way that this motherfucker bothers me. No politician since I've been a child has seemed this inept and this unable to grasp just simple concepts and be a fucking normal functioning human being first. Just be a fucking person. That's all I ask. Now, once I establish that you are an actual human being that has thoughts, emotions, and can convey things to me, and you can articulate things, and we can have disagreements, we can have discussions. Once I understand that you're capable of those things, now let's have a disagreement on something. Let's talk about policy. Let's talk about why you think this should be implemented versus that. But this fucking guy is like a brain dead fucking zombie. And we have him as leader of the free world? I'm not a fan of Obama, but Obama was a smart human being. He was articulate. He could get up on a stage and give a speech. He could do those town hall meetings where people are asking him questions and he's interacting with them and he's telling them why he agrees or disagrees with them. Like, that should be a fucking foundational prerequisite to be leader of the free world, is being able to articulate your thoughts and being able to just communicate as a human being. But what kind of person would say something like that for the unvaccinated? It's just pejorative. It's inflammatory. They want certain groups of people to be put up on a pedestal, like, oh, you guys are vaccinated up here. You did the right thing, but for you unvaccinated. And then they're going to come down and cast this evil foresight that the future holds illness and death for you, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm. And the reason that is just so aggravating, no one's afraid of coronavirus anymore. Omicron hasn't killed anybody. And I haven't heard anybody talk about this, and who knows, because I'm just a knuckle-dragging ranger. I didn't go to medical school, and so since I didn't go to medical school, I can't have an opinion on things. That's what the left wants to push, until Dr. Peter McCullough comes out as a virologist and cardiologist and smashes and crushes all their narratives. But what I want to know is, if Omicron, if the symptoms are a scratchy throat, that's what we're being told. Omicron is extremely contagious. It's spreading fast. Symptoms include a headache, fever-like symptoms, and a scratchy throat. Congratulations. I've been getting scratchy throats and fever-like symptoms since I was 3, when you would catch the flu or the common cold. So my question is, if coronavirus is mutating to a less deadly version of itself, isn't that a good thing? Wouldn't we want to get antibodies from a variant that is not shown to be extremely dangerous? Nope, that's not right. What's right is lock everybody down, shut your schools down, shut your businesses down, and this isn't Crazy Anderson going off on a tangent. I did a podcast with a lady last night who lives up in Vancouver, BC, and they're going back into lockdown. I just shared it on my Instagram. And today is December 22nd. So we're about a week out from when you guys will be hearing this live. But Vancouver, BC is going to go into, we're going to implement some restrictive measures. And this will be a 3-week period of time to help flatten the curve. Like, if I hear one more motherfucker say, this is just going to be 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I want to slap them. Like, are we really going to buy into that narrative anymore? 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Oh, well, Vancouver, BC is going to implement some new restrictive measures for 3 weeks. Go fuck yourself. All you people up in Canada, do not comply. Fucking go out there, live your lives, keep your businesses open. Don't put your fucking mask on. We all know this is bullshit. There's the Omicron acting up again. We all know this is bullshit. But everybody seems to comply. And it's just fucking lunacy to me that all these people that don't believe in it continue to comply. So there's my rant for today. We're not going into some crazy 1-hour podcast of Anderson just losing his fucking shit. But it's weird to me that it's like a dog chasing its tail. The same thing's happening over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And people think a different result is going to somehow just manifest itself into fruition. If we keep doing the same thing, the same shit's going to happen. That's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, hoping for a different result. So go out there, live your lives, stop being afraid. Stop being afraid. That's the biggest thing. You know, the no one's coming to save you shirts. We sold out of them very quickly. We got a second batch in. That message is resonating with people. People are sick of the government acting like they're our fucking mom and dad, and they're here to protect us and save us. I don't need your fucking help, motherfucker. I can manage my own family. I can manage my own health. I can manage my own body. I can manage my own protection. We don't fucking need you, okay? The sooner the government realizes that, the better all of us will be, including them, because they don't need to fucking be in this position of authority over us. Oh, well, it's for your health and it's for this and it's for that. No, fuck you. We don't need you. So get the fuck out of our lives. You know, on the podcast I did yesterday, again, I was talking to that young lady in Vancouver, BC, and she's like, yeah, they took all the AR-15s. We can't have them up here anymore. And it was just a fucking like bill passed through in the night. And she said just one morning, hey guys, these are no longer allowed. You have to turn them in. And I'm like, and you did. That's the fucking problem. And you did. Americans need to realize that the spirit of defiance is what will keep this country alive. When we face the most adversity we are ever going to face as a country, we need to know if we stand up and we do not bend a knee and we tell tyranny to go fuck itself, that will make America grow and it will nurture the spirit of defiance and it will make American citizens, it'll put them on a trajectory to have the most rewarding and the most meaningful lives we could imagine. Do not sell yourself short and think that by complying with any of this bullshit, that it is somehow going to make this pass. This is just a phase of my life. And if I just get through this and I comply and I do what's asked of me and I get vaccinated, that now we're going to somehow get to the light at the end of the tunnel. And when I get there, it's going to be fucking cupcakes and rainbows and back to fucking the utopia that I used to America being. It's not going to happen. We have to take that back. At this point, we have to earn that back. You want to be fucking free again? We're going to have to take it back. So I think this is a good episode to do some Q&A because all the things that people are asking, all the things that people are wondering about, they all come together in making you a better, capable human being. Remember, they want you fat, weak, and stupid. So if you become fit, strong, and intelligent, that is exactly what the oppressors do not want you to become. And that alone is a good enough reason to fucking try and build yourself up and become as strong as you can be. We're going into the new year. I used to fucking hate New Year's resolutions. I used to hate them because I used to be of the mindset, if there's a deficiency in your life, and I don't care if it's whatever your goals are, if you're setting goals, that means that you are looking at different aspects of your life and you are saying, I'm deficient here. Maybe I'm a little too fat. Maybe I'm weak. Maybe I'm slow. Maybe I'm not an active participant in my marriage. Maybe I'm not being the father that I need to be. So I'm going to set these New Year's resolutions to try and be a better person. I used to say, if you need a calendar date to be a better person, go fuck yourself. Today is December 22nd. And if I look in the mirror and realize that I'm a fat, weak piece of shit, well, maybe this afternoon I should stop shoveling bullshit in my mouth and go get on the treadmill for an hour. If you want to attach a calendar date to your success, I feel like you're looking at the problems that you were trying to overcome in the wrong manner. You were looking at those problems as something that I'm going to kick down the street. I'm going to kick the can down the street for just a couple more days. It's December 22nd and it's Christmas. So I'm going to give myself, 9 days and then I'll get back on that horse. If your goals are built in a realm that you can say, in 9 days, I'll do this. In 9 days, I'll do that. What you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure. I should say, you aren't taking every opportunity to seize the moment and become better. And I used to fucking come down on people that have New Year's resolutions. I would tell them, I have life resolutions. And when I want to get better at something and I make that commitment, it happens right now. Now that I'm much older and wiser and calmer, I would say this to people that want to change their life on January 1st. Instead of berating them with hate and telling them that they're procrastinating weaklings, maybe the right thing to do would be support that and say, you know what? If you're going to change your life on January 1st to become a better version of yourself, I think that's incredible. Don't let my, how do I articulate this? Don't let my support of your January 1st date misconstrue how I truly feel, though. I think any date that you set, you need to be held to a standard, you need to be accountable, and you need to create an environment that is going to facilitate success. And that can be with how you schedule your day, how you buy your food, how you package your food on the first, and you weigh it all out, and you have separate containers for each day of the week. You surround yourself with the right people. Maybe you embark on some of these goals with another person to help have an accountability partner, because all that's real shit, right? But if you don't do that, and you don't do those things, and you don't implement the right techniques and utilize the correct tools to succeed, you're gonna fucking fail. And it doesn't matter if it's January 1st or March 1st or August 23rd or whatever the fuck it is. So with all that said, all that out of the way, if you are motivated to become a better version of yourself January 1st, let's fucking do it. Now is the time. Now is the time for a conglomerate of reasons. But health and fitness is the most underrated aspect of defeating any of the fucking bullshit variants that are going to be coming down the pipe. And they're going to be coming down the pipe forever. That's part of life now. Coronavirus variants, part of the human experience. Get used to it. What can you do to make sure that it's not even a concern? Well, get your shit together. That's what you can do. I literally, the circle of people that I move around with, we literally don't even fucking care. It's not like, oh, I don't wear a mask because I don't think they work. I don't wear a mask because I don't fucking care. I don't care. I have 40 students on my mats at a time these days, sweating in each other's fucking eyes and mouth. Like, that's going to make me tougher, and it's going to make me harder to kill. So I don't care if I get it. Getting it's just part of life. And you need to feel the same way. What can I do to become stronger, more capable, and move forward without fear? That's how you do it. So let's go into the questions, guys. We have, I chose about, I think 5 or 6 questions for today's episode, and we're just going to kind of have some fun with it. And then we're going to wrap this up. Starting the new year, this is my New Year's resolution. We're going to get back to having quality guests, and we're going to have them come to the studio and have in-person interviews more often. The reality of the show is I like in-person communication. I like the Joe Rogan, the Andy Stumpf approach to podcasting. There are podcasts like The Order of Man that he does almost all his stuff virtually, and it's great content. And I'm not here to say one way is better or one way is worse. But what I'm saying is me as an individual human being that enjoys conversation and enjoys sharing that experience with another person, I feel like I put out a better product when we're occupying the same space, we're feeling each other's vibes, we're looking into each other's eyes as we communicate and share our perspectives. So let's go into it. Question 1. I live in Boston, and the mayor has said restaurants, gyms, bars, entertainment will require vaccine passports starting January 15th. My question is, how the fuck do you navigate this bullshit? I'm also unvaccinated and always will be. By the way, I started BJJ because of your podcast. I'm still a white belt, and I'm starting to have those moments in the gym where it clicks. Thank you for inspiring me, bro. Aiden. Fuck yeah. Great question to open up today's episode with. First of all, if you haven't started jiu-jitsu yet, go start jiu-jitsu. It opens up so many other opportunities, and it makes you aware of things, and it helps you grow in a manner that you can't without jiu-jitsu. So Aiden, proud of you, bro. You're starting the path, and you're already having those click moments. Anyone that trains jiu-jitsu knows what those are. You will be flopping around on the mats like a fish out of water until things start to come together for you. And so as a white belt, that's when you develop that understanding of how jiu-jitsu works. And you need to have those moments where it clicks. And it's cool to hear people. It's even cooler to see it firsthand. But how do you navigate the vaccine passport? This is how I navigate it. Very simple. If a restaurant or a business or any kind of venue, if I go there to give you my hard-earned money and support your business, and you tell me I have to have a mask on my face or a vaccine passport, the answer is go fuck yourself. And not only am I not going to patronize your establishment at this moment, I will never go back there again. I will never give you my hard-earned money ever again. And this is getting worse and worse. But the thing is, if these restaurants and these bars and these clubs, all these places that you used to like and you used to support, if their leadership and their management are such fucking cowards that they're just going to fall in line with these fucking tyrannical government edicts, and they're just going to say, fuck your liberties, fuck your opinion as a fucking paying customer, fuck what's important to you, show me your vaccinated status or leave my establishment, I'm leaving your establishment and I'm never, ever coming back. The flip side to this is it takes business away from the cowardly owned businesses. But what it's going to do that's even more important than that, find the people, seek them out. And you can find them on the internet. I'm sure there's groups and Facebook message or Facebook groups, and you can find it on Instagram. Find the businesses that are refusing to comply and go give them your hard-earned money. Go support those people. They're the people that need it the most, but they're also the people that deserve it the most because they are risking their livelihoods and they are putting it on the line to bring you a good meal or to bring you an opportunity to go grocery shopping or an opportunity to buy some new clothes. In the reality of the situation, guys, yeah, we are in a time where a lot of fucking businesses are trying to toe the line. They're trying to, well, I got to stay open and I got to do this. So I got to push the mandate, even though I don't really support it and agree with it. The time for people that are towing the line, the time is now to tell those people to fuck off. We're not towing the line anymore. It's up to you as an individual American business owner to decide how you want to operate your business. Tell local government, tell the federal government to go fuck themselves and open your doors. And that's what I did. This isn't just some fucking dude yelling into a microphone about having courage and you should do this and you should do that. I did that. I lost my job as a police officer for standing up against this bullshit. Then they came after my gym. And again, I stood up and said, go fuck yourselves. And you know what happened, guys? My memberships grew by 500%. Think about that. Every time I say these numbers on the air, I always give the caveat that I'm not saying this to boast or, oh, look at me. I'm lucky. I'm successful. The reason I say that is because people aren't stupid. People see when you are courageous. People see when you don't do what this fucking tyrannical government's telling you to do. And they see that and it's inspiring to them. And they want to patronize your business and they want to give you their hard-earned money because they believe in who you are. And here's the thing, guys. My favorite sushi place ever. I can never go back there. Now, does that feel good to me? No, it fucking sucks, dude. Me and my daughters love that place. We would go there all the time. But they told us to mask up to walk from where you meet the hostess to where you sit down at your table. And I said, well, we don't have masks. Well, I'm not going to be able to seat you then. I said, my seat is right there. I can see it. We're 15 feet away and it's a big open room. It's not like I had to walk through some hallways or through some doorways or anything. It's one big open room. Full 40 people were sitting there eating. And you can't walk me to my table? Nope. Yep, put your mask on. I said, that's not going to happen. And she's like, if you don't put your mask on, we can't give you business. And I was like, okay, well, here we go again. I will never step foot in this place again. And guys, I know that sounds a little dramatic and it may seem like a hard thing to do, but if the worst part of your life is that you don't get to go to your favorite sushi place anymore and now you have to go to a different one, that's fucking winning. We're doing pretty damn good. So patronize the businesses that deserve it and tell the ones that are enforcing this bullshit to fuck off. And guys, if it gets to the point where you don't get to go out and eat anymore, then maybe you fucking cook steak and apples on your barbecue in your backyard and you just focus on making your health and your diet and the foods that you consume a priority in your own household. And it's probably going to be better off for you in the long run anyways. So navigate it like that. Fuck them all. Zero mercy. Zero. We are not willing to fucking bend 1 millimeter on this. Period. There is no middle ground. You either let me be a customer or you fuck yourself. Period. Question 2. I heard about a year ago, Tim Pool mention you. And it would be great to see you on the Timcast. Have you considered that? No, I have not considered that. But the second part of the question is, on a broader level, which podcasts would you most like to collab with? And I do like this question. And the truthful answer of this is most podcasts that I enjoy and that I listen to and that I really take a lot and learn from, I have been able to develop relationships with those people. Cleared Hot is one of my favorites. I love Andy Stump. I think he consistently puts out a good combination of like lightheartedness. It's fun to listen to. He has interesting people on, but then he also gets in the weeds and shit and gives you real perspective and talks about things that he has a very unique perspective on and a unique ability to answer specific questions, like on his Full Auto Friday. But I've been on Cleared Hot twice and I really enjoyed that. And hopefully we'll do it again someday, or I'll have him on mine. I would really enjoy that. But I consider him like my fucking podcast daddy. That guy invited me on Cleared Hot when my story was still fresh and new. And it really introduced me to the world of podcasting, what that feels like, how you navigate those waters. And he helped me get where I am today with like gear recommendations and just kind of an understanding of how this all works. And so that was awesome to see, or awesome to experience rather. But also guys like Mike Glover, I was able to have him on. I love the content he's putting out. Evan Hafer from Black Rifle. I like their Free Range American stuff. I was fortunate enough to be a guest on that. Andy Frisella. Andy Frisella is probably Andy Stump, Andy Frisella are my go-tos when I'm going to put a podcast on. And I don't listen to podcasts like I used to, because when I was a police officer, I commuted a lot and I was on patrol a lot. And I would always have podcasts on in the background. But in today's world, I don't commute much. My gym is 7 minutes from my house. So if I have an opportunity to listen to something, it's Andy Stump or it's Andy Frisella, 9 times out of 10. And I've been fortunate enough to do both their shows and become personal friends with both of those guys. And then the last thing that I will say on this question, what is the Mecca of the podcast world? It's the Joe Rogan Experience. I've been listening to Rogan since I was, like 30 years old or something like that. That's crazy. That's 11 years ago. And he, very similarly to Andy, has guests on a wide range of topics. And so it's something fresh every day. And when I started my podcast, I thought about that. I thought, the best guys in the industry, what kind of content are they putting out? Because it has to be authentic. It has to be what I'm interested in, or in regarding topics that maybe I have experience in. But I didn't want to pigeonhole myself and be like the Police Officer Patrol podcast or being an Army Ranger, because those are things I've done. That's not who I am. Those are things I've done. And I think it's important to differentiate between things that you have done in who you are as a person. And I wanted my podcast to encompass who I am as a person. And I think that allows for a lot wider range of topics. It allows for a wider range of guests. And it allows you to go down all of these different rabbit holes that you may avoid if your podcast is military leadership or whatever. And I've listened to some military leadership podcasts. I love that stuff. But I think your listeners want to get to know you as a person, and they want to hear about different aspects of your life. So sometimes it's about my family. Sometimes it's about jiu-jitsu. Sometimes it's about dieting. Sometimes it's about being a veteran and facing depression. And it's important to always be an open book. And I think that's how you grow these platforms. But yeah, if I could collab with anyone, if I could choose, dude, being on Rogan would be fucking rad. But I will say this, I will never ask someone to be on their show, period. That's gross. Ugh. Like, this is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. This is my life experience. If you think I would bring value to your show, I'd be honored, right? That's the same with all the other people that have asked me to be on their show. But to say, hey, let me do your show sometime. Ugh, it's gross. Immediately gross, immediately turned off. Because I've had a lot of my friends is like, dude, you should hit up Rogan and see if you guys can get something going. I'm like, I don't have the authority to hit up Rogan and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? He's the fucking general in the podcast world. I'm a fucking PFC. Okay. So I'm the new guy. I'm the guy that's trying to build a platform and trying to create some content that enriches people's lives. And if we ever cross paths, that would be fucking cool. But if we don't, hey, I'll continue to enjoy what he puts out, his content, and it is what it is. Last bit on that, if you haven't listened to Dr. Peter McCullough on Joe Rogan, go do it right now. I think it is a duty of every human being on planet Earth that has internet access to listen to that and to be open-minded and come at that with an open mind and an open heart and see how we have been fucking lied to for 2 years. Question 3. Hey, Greg, huge fan of the podcast. Listening to you and Lappin has helped me start training. I've been at it about 8 months now. I competed once and did decent, but my question is, how do you and other high-level dudes train with injuries if you do at all? And the question goes on. He starts to ask some other specifics, but I think that's kind of the meat and potatoes of the question. Is he's asking about warm-ups, cool downs, and bulletproofing your body. And that is from Sarosh. So thank you for the question. And I just want you to know, he also says, I can't wait to come train in Washington. Fuck yeah, come up, let's roll. And I say that to everybody that listens. My academy is open to everybody. TheElectricNorth.com is my website, and you can see our hours. And if you're local, please come train. It would be cool to meet you guys. But how do you train through injuries? Let's be honest about what jiu-jitsu is first. I tell everybody that is interested in starting the journey of jiu-jitsu that if you train, something hurts. Period. The reason that I say that is because I do not want to be a charlatan. I do not want to be selling snake oil. I don't want people to sign up at my academy and me give them this speech about how amazing you're going to feel and how great jiu-jitsu is without giving them the other side. Everything in life is a dichotomy. Everything is a double-edged sword. You get all the benefits of jiu-jitsu, but with the benefits comes the injuries, the aching pains, the nagging, like inflammation in your knuckles and your hands and your joints. And it's like, there are many nights that I fucking sit and ponder, is this sustainable? Can I continue doing jiu-jitsu for much longer? And I'll go through a period of time where it's like, I'm plagued by injury. My back hurts, and then my knee hurts, and then my wrist hurts. And then as soon as one thing gets better, the next thing hurts. And I've went through periods of time where it's been like a year where I just can't get healthy. And I'm like, man, I don't know if this is for me anymore. But this is what I'll tell you. The way to deal with that is you have to, first of all, understand that if you train, something's going to be hurt. Now that you understand that that is part of the jiu-jitsu lifestyle, now we have to look at how do I mitigate that and how do I adjust my training to best serve my body? Everybody has different ailments. Everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses. One of my best training partners, Tyler Stanaway, has been dealing with a shoulder issue now for 6 or 8 months. And my shoulders have never ached once in my life. I have strong shoulders. And so it's like what he's going to have to do to tweak his training versus what I have to do, they're going to be very different things. This is absolutely an individualized plan. But I'll tell you guys this, whatever the body part is that is hurting, try and nurture that and try and heal that. Okay. Put the time and energy into addressing the injury. And then I throw the kitchen sink at it. I do BPC 157 peptide injections at the site of my injuries. I do CBD rubs. I do a lot of Graston work. I do a lot of foam rolling and like myofascial release and deep tissue stuff to really help with my muscles and my connective tissue. I sit in the sauna a lot. I sit in the ice tub a lot. And I try and have all of the methods that I use to work out, making me a more functional, well-rounded, strong, mobile human being. I'm not chasing a 400-pound bench anymore. I have no interest in that. I would like, and to tell you the truth, I try and avoid lifting heavy. I try and avoid even deadlifts these days. And it sucks because I really enjoy lifting weights. But I find if I go as hard as I can on the mats, and then I try and go as hard as I can in the weight room, something's going to give. And so if I understand that my goal as a jiu-jitsu athlete, my goal as a fighter, my goal is longevity, my goal is health, I'll go hard on the mats. And then when I go to CrossFit, I want to do workouts that serve recovery and serve my body. Now, that doesn't mean that they're easy or they don't take my fucking soul, but I'm not trying to do 100 deadlifts for time because I've learned through trial and error that just fucks me up worse. So I have developed kind of an approach to exercise where what I do off the mats serves me on the mats. I do a lot of kettlebell stuff. I do a lot of mobility stuff. I like high rep, low weight. I like to rev the engine on like your assault bikes or your ski ergs. I like body weight movements, burpees and pull-ups and toes to bars and things that I can really thrash myself, but with minimal risk of injury. As soon as I start trying to do clean and jerks and deadlifts for time, I throw my back out. And I've done it time and time and time again. And I actually just did deadlifts, was it like 48 hours ago? It was the first time I've done them in like a year. And during the workout, fucking sure as shit, I felt something not feeling right in my lower back because that's my area that's always been compromised. And so I quit the workout halfway through it. And I said to Angie, she's the one, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know who she is. She's our girl that works out. Me, Jenny and Ange, we're like a team and we get after it at CrossFit. And she's an elite athlete and she has really helped develop my fitness over the last, we're coming up on like 4 years now. And I think that's the first time I just quit mid-workout. And I said, I feel off. It feels off to me and I'm not going to risk it. That is an important thing to be able to do both on the mats and off the mats is know your body, know your limitations, and make sure that the things you are doing serve your body and not serve your ego. Because I could have powered through that workout, probably. I know 100% I could have, but I think I would have fucked myself up. So that's what I will say for addressing injuries off the mats. Addressing injuries on the mats, show up to the gym. Continue to be present. Continue to be a teammate. Continue to allow yourself to know the people that you share the mats with and be a part of their lives because that's an important aspect of jiu-jitsu. Show up and watch. Be a visual learner if you can't be a kinesthetic learner that day. Go there and try and take in what you can through listening to your professor articulate how to do moves. And what that's going to do, it's going to keep your brain engaged in jiu-jitsu, but it's also going to keep you engaged with the team. And that is severely important. The next thing you can do is get on the mats, tape up what hurts, and be aware of it. And I have people that regularly will drill, they'll do the lesson, they'll do the warm-up, and then when it's time to spar, they'll say, hey, I'm going to sit out. And against all my urges to call them a pussy and berate them, I kid. No, I support that. Yeah, absolutely. Come and do what you can with what you have. And then the last thing that I will say, and I'm not the biggest fan of this, you can roll while nurturing a specific part. So if my right wrist is acting up, I might fight with an understanding that I'm not going to use my right hand today. And it's a severe handicap, right? But what it also is it teaches me to be able to have control and be offensive and be defensive with a compromised body. So I think there is training value in that. But don't be the training partner that slaps and bumps and then tells the person that you're going with, hey man, this hurts, so watch out for that. And then I'm aching over here. I've had people like, hey man, just so you know, I got like a bad knee. My left knee is kind of bad right now. My hip's aching on that same side. And then my right shoulder went out. So please be mindful of that. And it's like, bro, I'm not fucking taking a diagram of your body and gonna fucking figure out what I can attack and what I can't attack, because that's not how jiu-jitsu works. You're flowing, you're moving. I'm not seeking an opportunity. I'm looking to exploit one. So this is what I would say. If you want to roll in your compromised state, instead of telling people, oh, don't do this, don't do that, find guys that you already know, find guys that you trust, find guys that are good training partners, i.e. usually purple belts and above, because those people have a very well understanding of how jiu-jitsu works, and say, hey man, I'm kind of aching today. Can we just do a flow roll? The right person that can give you the right flow roll will know exactly what you mean by that. And also, during a flow roll, if something hurts or somebody latches onto something, like if I'm nursing, or like if Stanaway's nurturing his shoulder injury and someone finds a Kimura grip, just tap out right there on the spot. You got the Kimura grip, tap. I'm not dealing with any shoulders issues, tap, fuck yeah, and keep going. So that's how I deal with injuries. Long-winded response, but well, that's how the podcast works. We talk as long as we want here. So question 4, with your 40-day carnivore, AKA steak, apples, and eggs diet, did you find jiu-jitsu suffered a little? If so, why do you think it did or it didn't? He goes on to talk about how he completed my 40-day steak, eggs, and apple challenge. He went from 248 to 230. Mostly fat around my stomach and bitch tits. I took 5 days off after the 40-day challenge to reset my metabolism. The 5 days off, I ate more carbs and felt great on the weight bench and during jiu-jitsu. And that's from Wes. And Wes has been a fan of the podcast for a long time. And he came out and did my Guns and Geese program with me down in New Orleans. And it's cool when a jiu-jitsu or when a podcast fan becomes a real life homie. And dude, we text each other now, and I value that guy's friendship, and he's an incredible human being. And so I'm going to answer this, and then I'm going to go on a little caveat about that. My 40-day challenge, I've talked about it on the air before. I was just getting fat. That's the reality of it. People look at me and they don't think you're you're not a fat person. What are you talking about? You're 40 years old. No, in my opinion, you either have a 6-pack of abdominal muscles or you're fat. And I'm not talking shit about you, and I'm not saying you should be this or you should be that. And there's guys that don't have 6-packs that would beat the life out of me. I'm not saying it's a metric for how good you are or how capable you are. But what I am saying is if I don't have my 6-pack, I'm getting fatter. So it's 6-pack or fat ass. in my world. And that's what motivated me. I actually took a picture with like Joao and Lappin and my buddy Rob, and everybody looked good except me. And I was like, I will not be the weakest link in my circle of friends. I can't be that person. So 40 days, I'm going to dial it in. I'm going to eat these 3 foods. They're good foods. I went with a carnivore approach because low carbohydrates have always served me well in regards to losing body weight or body fat. And then I thought, but when I'm on strict carnivore or strict keto, I don't perform as well as an athlete. My body just loves to have some carbohydrates in it. And I know there's people that are like, oh, there's ultra marathon runners that are in ketosis. And that's just, you just haven't fully fat adapted yet. And it's like, okay, you do you, I'll do me. I knew that if I could allow myself to have an apple or 2 before practice, that I would perform exponentially better. And so that's what I did. And I'll tell you this, steak, eggs, and apples, I never felt better. By the end of the 40 days, I looked in a manner that I was proud of. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, okay, I'm back. I'm who I like to be. Am I where I want to be? Or do I think I'm perfect or that I've arrived at where I would like to arrive at? No, of course not. I'm not that person. I don't think that I will ever be content with who I am as a person. But the reason that I did it was because not only was I not content, but I was actually disappointed. And there's a difference between being disappointed and not being content. And so I did this diet and it worked. It got me to where I wanted to be. And so the question was, did my jiu-jitsu suffer? And I'm going to say yes, a little bit. And I honestly think it's just the physiology of the human body. When you are just inundated and saturated with carbohydrates, I just don't really fatigue. Like my body, I shouldn't say I don't fatigue. Everybody fatigues. You still get lactic acid buildup and you have to buffer that. But my body functioned, my endurance was a lot more. It was noticeably better when I eat 3 pizzas as opposed to steak, eggs, and apples. So for me personally, it's a balancing act of finding what makes me look and feel good versus what makes me be able to roll for 10 rounds. And I don't know if those 2 things are the same. And I'm still trying to modify that and find a happy medium to where the diet that I live day to day consuming brings me the right amount of energy and the right amount of sustainability on the mats. And I think that the steak, eggs, and apples is getting close. So right now I'm on a 12-day fast because Mitch Aguiar talked me into doing the Smash and Greens fast for 12 days. I got 2 days left. I do not enjoy doing this. I do not perform at a higher level, and I got sick. But this is not, I didn't get sick because of the fast. I got sick because I caught a fucking cold. That's life, right? But I think the fasting challenge, at least for me, it's more of a mental victory than a physical victory. I didn't do this fast to try and get shredded. I did this fast because a group of people were doing it and I wanted to give them accountability partner and I wanted to challenge myself. So I got 2 more days and then I'm going back on steak, eggs, apples, but I'm adding avocado in. And I actually made that shift before I went back or before I started the fast. And so continue to modify your diet and continue to find what fuels your body and makes you feel good and makes you look good. And there is not a one size fits all approach to this stuff. There's just simply not. We are all genetically different. We all have different ideologies and we all have different belief structures that may restrict your diet in certain ways. And you'll never hear me say, I'm right, you're wrong, go eat this and do that. Because I think that if there was a one size fits all approach to health and fitness and longevity, There'd already be the book. The book would already exist. The reason the book doesn't exist is because we're all different. The Inuits in Alaska have been fat adapted for generations because they don't have fruits and vegetables up there. Their body on a genetic level consumes nutrients in a different way that mine does. And so continue to play with it, continue to create the best version of yourself. But guys, the biggest thing I want to say about the steak, eggs, and apple diet, everybody wants all kinds of answers. Hey, where's the website on this? I got that asked. I was asked that question a lot. Is there a book on this? What's your macro split? Are you weighing your food? How many calories are you allowed a day? All that stuff I hate. I'm not going to monitor my macro split. I'm not going to count my calories or weigh my food. I hate that shit. I'm 41 years old. I've tried it and I fail when I put these weird parameters that just don't jive with my mentality. So you know what jives with my mentality? Implementing a lot of discipline. Very, very restrictive. These are your options. Go. And it may sound difficult, but to tell you the truth, it's actually a little simpler. And so there you go, Wes. That's question 4. That's a wrap. I had another tangent from that question that I wanted to go on, but I forgot. So we're going to move on to question 5. Boyden's come to my Jiu Jitsu Academy and he hounds me to come help me on my property. You know what's funny? That actually reminded me of what I was going to say about question 4. And it was when that I said that Wes was a fan of the podcast. But then instead of writing me and trying to create this relationship over Instagram, he signed up for Guns and Geese. And we spent 3 days together, did a bunch of cool shit, and we got to know each other as men. And that became very rewarding to see, hey, this is a person that listens to you. This is a person that's a fan of the show. And he appreciates what you're doing with your time. And now he's made the effort to come out and get to know you and spend some time with you. And we formed a real friendship. And that was cool. Like, I think that one of the coolest aspects of building a little bit of a platform and having people that listen to what I'm putting out, one of the coolest aspects of that is when I get to meet those people and I get to spend time with those people. And so the reason I say that is because, and I'm sorry if you're one of the crazy fuckers out there, but there are people on Instagram that are dead set on like becoming your best friend. And they write you and they write you and they write you and they write you. And it's like, hey, you want to hang out sometime? What do you mean hang out? I don't know you. What do you mean you want to hang out sometime? Come train jiu-jitsu with me. Oh yeah, I was thinking maybe we just go get coffee or something. No, I'm good, man. Like, I got a wife, I got 3 businesses, I got 3 daughters. I'm fucking slammed, homie. If you want to kick it, come train jiu-jitsu. What about a dinner sometime? And it's like, man, listen, I'm not famous. I'm not some fucking like unreachable person that I just I don't have time for these people. That's not it at all. It's that it's bizarre that there are people out there that want to create some type of relationship with you, but they don't want to interject themselves into your life or what you do or who you are. And I'm not saying that this is the step-by-step instruction on how to be friends with Greg Anderson. That's not why I bring it up. I think this is an advice that anybody could take when trying to develop a relationship with another human. Same thing if you're asking a girl out or you meet a dude at jiu-jitsu that's cool and you're like, hey, you want to go grab a beer after practice? Like, for relationships to be authentic, I think they have to be organic. And for them to be organic, it means you occupy the same space, you engage each other in conversation, and then you either feel a connection or you don't. And inherently, people are going to be drawn to each other or repelled from each other. That's just our energy. That's our vibes. So if there's a person in your life that you think I would like to bring that person into my circle, or I would like to have that person be part of my life, don't invite yourself in. Inviting yourself in is the fastest way to invite yourself out. Simply interject yourself to occupy the same space as they do. And then it's either going to grow organically or it's not. And if it doesn't, no big deal, right? No big deal. No harm, no foul. But that's how it's going to become something real and something authentic. And a lot of my best friends are people that I've met on the mats. And so I tell people that's kind of my response now when people hit me up and they want to go get a coffee or get a picture or something. It's like, hey, check out my academy's website. These are ours. Stop in and hit some training with us sometime. And I think that that's an important way for people to understand that through occupying the same space, you're going to know if you guys are good together or you're not. And maybe you build a friendship, maybe you don't. But it's like, guys, if you ask a girl out on a date, she says no, the worst thing you can do is just simply ask her out on a date again. It's the worst. It didn't work the first time, so let's try it again. No, it reaches a point where it's like, this is kind of fucking bizarre. So Boyden's question, are you in the process of building a new barn, a new gym barn, because my gym is wood pole barn building, to handle all of your new clients? And I am in the preliminary phases. We're literally just getting into some demo bids and some permits and those kind of things, because I've grown by 500%. I am simply out of mat space. And it's frustrating because I want to continue to grow the business and grow the team and offer jiu-jitsu to more people. But at the end of the day, you can only have so many people on the mat space that you have. So yes, but in the state of Washington, the permitting process and the procedures and the protocols that you have to go through to build a new structure, it's a fucking nightmare. I did it with my first gym and it was a nightmare. So we're going to go through it again. And I'm looking forward to having a bigger facility. But at the end of the day, it might be a year out still. So in the meantime, we're rolling on top of each other. Fucking deal with it. Question 6. I'm a cop in Detroit. I'm a white belt in jiu-jitsu. I left my tribe in South Carolina 7 years ago to move up here with my wife. BJJ started to become the tribe. A little bit, but not quite. I used to feel that way in the department I was with, but haven't in 7 years. I still love the job. I just don't like the team of guys that I'm working with. Most of them are in their early 20s and I'm 33. I want to work around guys who make me better. Any advice on how to find that? I considered going SRT, and I'm assuming that's special response team because that's what mine was, full-time SWAT, but it's a year-long training process. I'm not sure. Maybe I should just buy some land and become a farmer and keep choking people out on the mats. Love your podcast, Chris. I love this question, Chris. I think that as a police officer, you will find yourself in one of two camps. And that is the cops that are burnt out and are there to collect a paycheck. And the other camp is the cops that want to be better and they want to serve their community. Inevitably, you are going to find that your goals and your aspirations and the direction you take your career will put you amongst one of those two groups. And if you find yourself with people that aren't building you up, it's very likely they're tearing you down. And you said a lot of the guys you work with are young, so maybe they're not burned out, bitter old fuckers yet. But if they don't make you feel like you're chasing a better version of yourself, I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it when you said that, like, I don't like the team of guys I'm with. And so my experience in law enforcement is this. When you join a specialized team, when you join SRT, because I was SRT in Los Angeles with the Marshal Service, you are going to find that the men and women on your left and right are going to be held in a higher regard. They're going to seem like more important and valuable members of your team and valuable members of your life. They're going to become your peers, both on duty and off duty. And if you're working with guys that you don't like having a drink with or dinner with after work, I mean, that's kind of a telltale sign. There were guys in the Marshal Service that once we clocked out, if I saw them in a grocery store, I'd walk the other way just because I don't even want to fucking see them. And then there's other guys that I would give the shirt off my back to because I cherished them as human beings. And what I found was, and this isn't an absolute because there are no absolutes in life, but what I found was people that challenge themselves and want to be part of something that's a little more elite, takes a little more dedication, takes a little more effort. The people that you will meet on specialized teams, you will inevitably form better bonds with than the people that are just there doing the minimum. And I used to say, because my SRT team in Los Angeles, it was a part-time team. And sometimes we'd only train, I think we train 2 days a month together, and then we'd do one or two actual hits a month where we would serve like a high-risk warrant. And so you're with these guys 3 or 4 days a month in an actual capacity where you're working together, doing the job together. And that was the most rewarding aspect of being part of that agency. Hands down, bar none. I've said a million times, if Los Angeles U.S. Marshal SR team was a full-time team, there's a good chance I would still be a deputy in the Central District of California because I love those guys and I love that team. There was banter, there was accountability, we would work out together, we would bust each other's balls when necessary, we would have good times, we'd go out as a team, we'd order the UFC fights sometimes as a team, and it was like, yes, these are cool fucking dudes, and this is a meaningful experience that I'm sharing with them. But being 2, 3, 4 days a month, it didn't offset what I felt about the rest of the agency and the rest of my time that was allocated in doing fucking prisoner transports and sitting in court all fucking day. And so for me, it wasn't enough to make me look at that agency and say, you know what? There's a lot of bullshit I'm dealing with here. I got an inept chain of command. I don't like the mission. But because I love SRT, I'm going to stick with it. And I'm going to stick it out. You got to weigh the pros and cons of this world. And in that assessment, the cons won. So I would hands down say, you're 33 years old. You're still a young man. You're still in the prime of your life. Go see what SWAT's about. See what those dudes are like. Train up, invest that year, and fucking go kill it and crush it with those dudes. And if you get there and it wasn't what you were hoping for, and they don't offer the team and the camaraderie that you were looking for, hey, no harm, no foul. Now maybe it's time to fucking go become a farmer and choke people, like you said, right? But you're not going to know until you try. So 100%, go there, fucking crush it, become more capable, develop new relationships, develop new skill sets, and it may change the taste in your mouth in regards to your agency. Let me know, man. Whenever I answer questions, I always tell people stay in touch. And I love hearing how things played out after the fact. All right, question 7. We're going to wrap it up after this. And this is from Mike. And he says, I have a jiu-jitsu related question for the podcast. Shocking. What are your thoughts on current direction of jiu-jitsu going in as far as being sport influence, specifically from bottom, lapels, inverting, etc.? I personally try and stick to butterfly and half and keep it real. Thanks for your time. Loving the podcast, Mike. Maybe me and Mike are the same human being because my guard is almost exclusively butterfly and half guard. My guard's goal is 100% sweeping guard. I do not attack very often from the bottom. My whole goal when I am underneath someone is to get on top of you. Now that I'm on top of you, I'm going to take your soul. and I'm going to fucking crush with pressure and with crisp technique, take all the space away and rip the arm off or look for the choke. And I'm very methodical. It's like Rickson Gracie says, like he's always moving forward. You never move back in jiu-jitsu. So I get the sweep, and either the pass was acquired on the sweep, or I'm immediately going into the pass after the sweep. And once I secure side control or mount, or if they roll and compromise their positioning and I get on the back, now it is simply a slow step-by-step process until I submit you. I love what you said there, because I think jiu-jitsu is being a little too sport influenced, because in its heart, it is a martial art. It is a combat art. It is for self-defense and real-world violent encounters. That's what jiu-jitsu is for. It's been tried and proven. It works, and it will save you if you find yourself in a violent encounter and you have developed a high level of grappling, because it's happened to me on more than one occasion. But I will also say this. Every single day that you go to the mats and you put in an hour or 2 or 3 and you're grinding and you're sweaty and you're fatigued and you leave and you get in your car and you feel fucking good about the effort that you just put out. You feel good that you bonded with your teammates and that you got to share the mats with them and that you guys drilled some new techniques and you have a new tool in your tool bag and all the things that make jiu-jitsu fucking awesome, right? We don't do that simply because one day you might get in a street fight. We do that because it serves us for a wide range of reasonings that we've already spoke of in today's podcast. It makes you more resilient. It helps you forge friendships. It helps you deal with anxiety. It helps you deal with discomfort. It helps you detach from the stresses of real life. Maybe you worked all day and you're dealing with some fucking huge corporate deal that looks like is going south and you're stressed to the high hills, and you go to jiu-jitsu and you put all that shit on the back burner and you get an hour and a half of you time. That's one of the most powerful aspects of jiu-jitsu. So remember, not everything that we do has to be, does this work in a fight? Don't go to a class where your professor's teaching inverted de la Hiva. And you know what? I love some inverted de la Hiva. It's a sweep that I have a lot of success with. And Bouchesha taught me this back in like 2011. But understand that you can be at the gym having fun doing inverted de la Hiva. And then if you get in a street fight out in the gravel, inverted de la Hiva is probably not going to be what your go-to is going to be. Build a skill set for combat while simultaneously honing the other aspects of, you call it sport jiu-jitsu or just fun jiu-jitsu. The inversion, the Imanari rolls, all the weird Keenan Cornelius fucking lapel weaves and stuff. That stuff is still good for your engaging your brain and engaging your body. It's helping you grow. It's helping you develop mobility and dexterity. All that stuff is good. Just don't arrive at a place where you're being dishonest with yourself. I've always said, like, the Meow Brothers Jiu-Jitsu is phenomenal for sport jiu-jitsu. They pull guard, they berimbolo, they get on your back and they strangle you. And that's cool. And I admire that. And if I rolled with them, they would pull guard, they would berimbolo, and they would strangle me. I'm not delusional. But I also don't think that's very applicable in a fight. So I think you need to develop your jiu-jitsu for what you want your jiu-jitsu to be. You need to focus on building a game that serves what you want it to be. If you're a police officer, you probably need to be very proficient at takedowns, topside control, kimuras, and cuffing positions. If you're a 17-year-old kid that loves fucking competing in the IBJJF circuit, maybe you do need to develop just a nasty guard and dangerous fucking attacks from your back and all kinds of lapel work. But whatever your goal is that serves you as the individual athlete, just know don't poo-poo on the other sides and don't write them off or exclude them. Like if you show up to practice one night and your teacher, again, is teaching an inverted entry to Berimbolo, and you're a police officer that likes topside Kimuras, don't be like, this shit's stupid. It's not for me. Take what you can from that lesson. Learn those positions. And the reason that I always say this, learn those positions, because if you're a pressure topside player like Rodolfo Vieira, the best way to understand how to deal with those sneaky little fucking tricky guard players is understand that technique by how you can do it. And once you understand the positioning, you understand how to shut it. You can then understand how to shut it down. And you can understand how to break those grips and how to pass. So there's value to be had to your own game, even if it isn't what you play specifically. And then the last thing is just have fun with it, man. Have fun with it. Go to class, do the lesson, learn what's learned. And then when you slap and bump and you roll, that is your opportunity to hone the areas of jiu-jitsu that you want to hone. And bro, I've been at jiu-jitsu now for, I think it's 18 years. And I still have to ask myself, what's the best approach for overall growth in jiu-jitsu? Like, do I want to start learning the Danaher Death Squad's entry to footlocks? Fuck, I don't. Or am I better served polishing up my arm bars? Because my arm bars are my go-to submission. And I don't know what the answer is. You try and wear too many hats, at least for me, because I don't have one of those brains that can just download jiu-jitsu. I have to put in a substantial amount of work to make it come together for me. And so you have to look at your athleticism, your abilities, how your brain functions, how your brain learns, and then you have to build the path that best serves you. And the needle's always moving, man. It's always moving, because what serves me today, I may need to reevaluate and adjust, and it may serve me a little different tomorrow. But the other side of the coin is that's what makes jiu-jitsu so fun. It's an endless endeavor that is constantly changing, and you don't know where you're going to be from where you're at right now to this time next year. And that's what keeps it interesting. And that's what keeps it engaging. So fuck hour and 12 minutes on 7 questions. If you guys haven't realized, there are times that I like to fucking talk, and that serves me well because I enjoy sitting down and engaging you guys and answering your questions and offering my thoughts and my perspectives. I appreciate it. This is going to be dropping on, I believe, December 30th. So 2 days before New Year's. And like I said at the beginning of the show, if you want to utilize New Year's as an opportunity to better yourself and become more capable and add value to both yourself and your circle and your tribe, I'm not going to hate on you for it. Do it. Please do it. Take it as an opportunity to grow as a human being and become the best version of yourself that you've ever been. We got a couple Guns and Geese camps that are already scheduled for 2022, one in March, which sold out quickly, and we have another one in April. And I believe it's April 29th. But you can go to my link tree and you can click on Guns and Geese registration, get all the details there. It's a phenomenal program. It's a lot of fun. You'll be surrounded by good guys and good gals, and it will take your jiu-jitsu and your shooting to another level. But most importantly, it will help you understand how you need to get on the path to become the best version of yourself. I appreciate it, guys. We'll talk next time.